Yo, what's up? It's Tropics here. So, as you might know, this is my Week 4 Power Rankings, or going into Week 4 Power Rankings. The Thursday night game already happened, and I'm not going to use any of those statistics or anything to defer what my Power Rankings were before the Thursday night game, but just know that I did make these Power Rankings before, and I'm going to make the video after the Thursday night game. Yeah, I got a little busy, whatever. But as you can see, those were my previous power rankings from last week. A lot is changing, definitely. Some big upsets last week. Yeah, you could probably tell who's going to move and stuff. But yeah, other than that, make sure to show some love on the video. We need to up that subscriber count. The views have been good. The views have been great. Likes have been good. I would like for the viewers to get more involved in the comment section so I can involve you into the videos that I put out, because I would love to do that. That'd be fun. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of movement. Not much else to say. Let's get moving on this. All right, so I decided to drop the New York Jets down to 32. This is because they just got absolutely blown out by, I believe, the Broncos. I don't think they got any points in that game. I didn't really want to watch that game because it's not really that entertaining of a game. I don't know how to put it. But yeah, statistically speaking, Zach Wilson has not been doing good. Madara in the Pick'ems video said that Zach Wilson's a bust. I don't know if he's a bust just yet, but when you start your career out with 2 touchdowns and 7 interceptions through 3 games, I'm going to be a little iffy about you. So, he has 628 yards. He's doing all right. He's not great, though, and he's kind of looking like an Eli Manning, just throwing picks and shit. But he's also been sacked 15 times. The O-line is not holding up for Zach Wilson. He doesn't have time in the pocket. Yeah. The offensive line is not holding up for the run game either. Their leading rusher is Michael Carter with 89 yards throughout 3 games. You can't establish a winning culture if you can't even run the ball. So, receiving wise, I mean, they're all right. Braxton Berrios, he's always like that. He's like the outlet pass. Corey Davis is doing all right. I thought he would do a little bit better. But other than that, it's kind of just their defense isn't good. Their offense is not hitting on any cylinders, really. So, I believe they're the worst team in the NFL at the moment. On the other hand, to 31, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They move up a spot. I'm not using Thursday night game at all in these power rankings, but they move up because they did put up a decent fight against the Arizona Cardinals. It wasn't like great or anything. But again, Trevor Lawrence, he's doing better than Zach Wilson. He should. He's the number 1 overall pick, but he does have a bad TD to interception ratio with 5 and 7 interceptions. Well, did he throw a TD last night? That could be off. He could only have 4 TDs and 7 interceptions. He didn't throw a pick last night, so I know that. 57% completion percentage. It's just not going to work. But their offense is better. Like, James Robinson's been doing better. Carlos Hyde's a good second-hand running back. Marvin Jones and Laviska Shenault are a good receiving core. DJ Chark did just go out with a season-ending broken ankle, I believe. So that's definitely going to hurt. James Robinson is also a good receiving back. That helps a lot. But yeah, defensively they look below average. I think that's fair to say. They're below average defensively. Because usually when you're like on fantasy and you see that the player that you have in your fantasy lineup is playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars, you usually start them because I don't really got nobody. Shaquille Griffin is a good corner. Miles Jack's good linebacker. I forgot the other guy. Josh Allen on the defensive line. They have some decent name players on the line, but I think it's fair to list them at 31. Tell me if that's fair to you guys. So, at 30, I have the New York Giants, as I already said. Jesus. They lost to the Falcons. They should have won that game. The Falcons aren't a very good team. The Giants are also not a very good team. I'm only dropping them 3 spots because some teams have to move up and some teams need to go back. I mean, they lost. They deserve to go down in the power rankings. I don't know if 3 is a lot. I mean, 3 is kind of a lot. But to me, the New York Giants are a bottom 5 team in the league. And I think 30 is a good spot for them right now. Daniel Jones, he's kind of only the only bright spot right now on the New York Giants. And it's not even that big of a bright spot. I mean, he's almost thrown for 800 yards. He has 2 TDs. Hasn't thrown an interception. That's pretty surprising. He has been fumbling a little bit, but he's fumbled Jones. Everybody knows that. He's been rushing very well. I think he is the leading rusher in New York. 65% or completion percentage of 65. That's pretty good actually. It's not too bad, too good. Saquon, hopefully he's coming back more and more each week as the weeks progress. He looked good last week. Not great, but he looked good. He got a touchdown in that game, I believe. But yeah, I mean, they're looking better. Defensively, they're decent. But yeah, they're still just not there yet, if you know what I mean. But at 29, I have the Houston Texans. Tyrod Taylor going out is kind of tough. Davis Mills looked decent. I don't know. 58.7 completion percentage. He threw 2 touchdowns. He did throw 1 pick. Quarterback-wise, you're kind of going a rookie quarterback that I didn't even know existed, really. I'm going to be totally honest. I didn't know who he was. When your leading rusher is Mark Ingram, and he's like, 34? That's not good. But they do have a good run game. They do have an established run game. They have Mark Ingram, David Johnson, and Phillip Lindsay. That's a great running core. Receiving wise, Brandon Cooks is one of the top receivers in the league right now. That just goes out without saying. He has 322 receiving yards. It's very good through 3 games. You're averaging over 100 yards per game. But other than him, the receiving core is nowhere to be found. Danny Amendola, 43 yards on 6 receptions. You're just not going to have a successful relationship with your receiving core if only Brandon Cooks is the one doing all the work. Defensively, they're garbage. They don't really have a good defense, and I'm afraid the Buffalo Bills are probably going to put 40 points on them this upcoming week. Or this weekend. But yeah, I think 29 is a good spot for them. Let me know in the comments if you believe that as well. Alright, at 28, I got the Detroit Lions. They surprised me last week. They didn't win, but they held the Ravens to, I believe, was it 17 points, right? I think it was 17-15. I could be wrong about that. But, I mean, you can't really fault the Lions. They lost by a game-winning field goal, a record-setting game-winning field goal, 66 yards, in fact. Justin Tucker just put the win on his back. That's all you can say. So, I mean, they're not... I thought they were going to be really bad, but they're not really bad. Jared Goff has been playing decent. 70% completion. DeAndre Swift's a good running back paired with Jamal Williams. They're pretty much even on touches and even on receiving and all that. So that's a good backfield. Receiving wise, TJ Hawkinson's great. Is top right now, top 3 tight end. Probably at the end of the season, top 4. DeAndre Swift is their leading receiver other than TJ Hawkinson, which isn't really a good thing. But their receiving core is kind of, I mean, who's Khalif Raymond, Quintez Cephas, Amon Ra, St. Brown? Nobody really knows these people. Defensively, they looked good last week. I don't think they're going to be able to keep that up this week. Even though they're playing the Bears, I think either Andy Dalton or Justin Fields can put some points on the board against them. Look out for Allen Robinson in fantasy. I think this is his breakout game this season. He's been very, very slow. Just putting that out there. But yeah, I think 28 is a good spot for the Detroit Lions. But yeah, moving on to 27, we got the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, they're bad, but they're still Atlanta, and they have a win on the board. It was against the Giants, but they have a win on the board, so they move up. Matt Ryan is Matt Ryan. I mean, he's playing decent, but he is throwing interceptions more. He's getting on the older side at this point. So you never know with him. Mike Davis is a good running back paired with Cordell Patterson. Cordell Patterson is a very big threat in that offense because he's a very good receiver and he's a decent running back. So you never know what you're going to get when he's on the field. So that's a good offensive throw off for the other team. If I don't know, I sound stupid. Whatever. Calvin Ridley's been playing decent, not crazy. 175 yards on 20 receptions. Receiving core is kind of there. Cordell Patterson, Kyle Pitts is not performing at the level I thought he would. He's still playing great. I just thought he'd do better. But yeah, Cordell Patterson, Calvin Ridley, and Kyle Pitts are the top three receiving. And defensively, they have no if I'm going to be completely honest, they have no defense. The Atlanta Falcons do not have a defense. And I think that's why 27 seems like a good spot for now. If they improve defensively and they start winning more games, they'll move up. But if they don't, they're probably going to continue to move down. They play Washington this week. They could be a big prove-it game, but I still believe Washington wins in that game because I don't know. But, yeah, 27 is a good spot in my opinion for them. All right, at 26, I got the Miami Dolphins. This might seem a little weird, pulling them down 3 spots after they had a close game with the Raiders. It's just that the Raiders always tend to make games close with teams that they shouldn't make games close with. The Dolphins are moving down 3 spots mostly because a couple teams need to move up more spots, and it's just kind of like the perfect place for them. Offensively, they're decent. I mean, Jacoby Brissett is good. He almost threw for 400 yards. He basically carried the team on his back. He didn't throw a touchdown. He did throw an interception. Or no, he didn't almost throw for 400. I'm tripping. Never mind. But, yeah, running game, it's kind of there. Myles Gaskin is still the leading rusher. Malcolm Brown I think he got a touchdown last week. Yeah, he did. Jalen Waddle looks really good. They use him on the short routes. Yeah, I think he's really good. Devontae Parker's coming in with 13 receptions. That's almost 9 receptions less than Jalen Waddle, and they have about the same receiving yards. Mike Gesicki's doing good. But other than that, receiving-wise, it's kind of not there. Will Fuller is coming in, so that will help. Will Fuller is a deep threat. Yeah, I think offensively they're doing all right. Defensively, they're pretty good as well. So it's kind of an even team. They just need to figure out how to put more wins on the board. And they don't even have a win on the board. So, yeah, I think... Oh, wait, no, they do have a win on the board. I'm sorry. But, yeah, I think 26 is a good spot for them right now. They'll probably move up. It's the Dolphins. They'll definitely move up. But at 25, I have the Chicago Bears. I thought the Chicago Bears were going to be pretty good this year. I did. I don't know. I don't know who they're starting this week. It could be Andy Dalton, Justin Fields. I think they're going to win the game, but I think it's going to be really, really close. If they start Justin Fields, I could see them winning. Start Andy Dalton, I can see him winning. But, yeah, I don't know. They're kind of a weird team to me right now. And Matt Nagy needs to get the hell out. Matt Nagy is a very, very bad head coach, and he's trying to run all the plays for the whole team. It's just not working out. Well, rushing-wise, David Montgomery is a very good running back. He has 203 yards rushing on 46 attempts. That's pretty good. That's about 4.5 yards per attempt, I believe. Justin Fields is the second the second on the rushing leaderboards. Sorry, I can't speak ever. Andy Dalton is third. So other than David Montgomery, the rushing attack is just basically non-existent. Receiving-wise, it's also kind of non-existent. I thought it was going to be better. Allen Robinson has not been performing like a number one receiver. 21 targets, but he's only had 10 catches for 86 yards in 3 games. That's just not Allen Robinson numbers. Darnell Mooney is their leading receiver with 101 yards on 12 receptions. So offensively, they don't look good. Defensively, they look decent, a little above average. But yeah, I think 25 is a pretty solid spot right now for the Bears. If they can figure out their offense and maybe get a new damn head coach, just fire Matt Nagy. I think they could be better than a lot of people expect. But we're going to move on to the next. All right, at 24, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to drop 4 spots. They absolutely got dog-walked by the Dallas Cowboys. I expected that game to be kind of close. It just wasn't. The Cowboys just ran all over the Eagles. And it wasn't even Dak Prescott and his receiving core. It was more the running game. And it just destroyed the Eagles. And the Eagles couldn't get it going offensively. So I think 24 is a good spot for them right now. They'll probably move up. I see them maybe going with a 9-8 record to finish out the season. Like they're like right there, or it could be an 8-9 record, either one. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, he's good. Jalen Hurts is very good. He's a sustainable quarterback that will be probably there for a very long time, unless they want to move on from him, but I don't see why. 66 completion percentage, that's not bad. It's pretty good. He's throwing for almost 320 yards a game. That's also very good. 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He hasn't been sacked a lot. He's been getting out of the pocket very, very easily. He's also their leading rusher with 179 yards. That's not a bad thing. That's actually pretty good. He's like a young Lamar Jackson trying to get into the game. Miles Sanders with 156 rushing yards. He's doing pretty good. Not great. Wish he would do better for my fantasy team, in all honesty. Receiving wise, they look good. Like the receiving core is good. Quez Watkins, I didn't even really hear about him. To be honest, I don't know who he is, but 186 yards. Dallas Goedert has 132 yards. Devontae Smith has 115. There's 400-yard receivers on the Eagles, and I bet you wouldn't have projected that at the beginning of the season. The Eagles have been horrible passing and receiving the past couple of years, and to see it doing good is a good sign for the future. But yeah, defensively they're like below average, but they're kind of average at the same time. I thought they would be better, especially after the Atlanta game, and then they played San Fran and held San Fran to 17, and held I believe Atlanta to 6 points. So their defense can be on or off. You can't tell with them. So yeah, I have them at 24. At 23, I have the the Colts. I have the Colts at 23. All right, Jesus, 23, right? I'm not tripping. Yeah. Okay. Carson Wentz looks good. He doesn't look great, but he doesn't look bad. Like, he started off pretty good. He's starting to slow up, but the reason he probably didn't have the biggest game against the Titans last week was probably because, he's coming off a sprain in both ankles, which is, I don't know how he did that. He sprained both of his ankles on one play. That's wild, in my opinion. Rushing-wise, Jonathan Taylor still looks like that RB1. He's doing good. He's not doing great. Doing good. Naheem Hines is a great receiving back. Very good receiving back. He's doing decent on the ground. So offensively, they look good. Receiving core looks decent. Michael Pittman is coming. Like, he's starting to show. Like, I believe he was a rookie last year, and he looks good. 220 yards on 17 receptions. That's very good for a second-year receiver. Usually you see like a little drop-off with the sophomore receivers, and they just can't keep up. But he looks good. Naheem Hines with 119 receiving yards. Zach Pascal, he's been doing good. How many touchdowns does he have? 3. Yeah, he's been in the end zone a lot. More than pretty much any of these players on their team. But yeah, Colts offense is good, not great. Defensively, they were supposed to be great, but they're good. I believe the Colts are probably the best 0-3 team out there right now. I believe they're going to get their first win this week. But yeah, I think 23 is a solid spot for them right now. But moving on. All right, so at 22, I have the Washington football team. I mean, I don't even know how to put it into words what they are. I just don't know what they are, really. Defensively, I thought they'd be playing better. Offensively, they would have been playing better if Ryan Fitzpatrick did not go down with that hip injury. Taylor Heineke is a great backup quarterback, don't get me wrong. He's just not the best. He has a 70% completion, or he has a completion percentage of 70, okay? Jesus. But he does have 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, so not the best TD to interception ratio. He hasn't been sacked much. That's good. Running-wise, Antonio Gibson has started to pick back up. That's good to see. He's almost at 200 yards rushing through 3 games. But other than that, the rushing game is kind of not there. It's just basically Gibson. Receiving-wise, Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, looks great. Logan Thomas looks like a decent tight end. McKissick, the second-string running back, RB2, looks pretty good receiving-wise. He's kind of like the receiving back. I wish Antonio Gibson was more of the receiving back. He's gotten the same amount of receptions, but I would like to see Antonio Gibson get more. So offensively, they look good, not great, again. Defensively, they look good, not great. So kind of like an average overall team. I just need to see them put more wins on the board to make them like top 16. But I don't know if I'll see that happen this year. So yeah. And then at 21, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers falling 10 spots this week. They're 1-2. The Steelers are 1-2. They've had 2 games that they for sure should have. I mean, they beat the Bills. That was a game I thought they shouldn't have won. And then they lost to the Raiders, and then last week lost to the Bengals, which I thought they should win. So I don't even know what to think of the Steelers. I thought they would win this game or this last game against the Bengals. Bengals proved me wrong. So yeah, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, he's just not it anymore. Like I wish I could see Ben Roethlisberger in his prime again, but we're just not going to get that Big Ben anymore. And I think the Steelers need to realize that they need to move on from him. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's just not going to work. Najee Harris on the ground hasn't been great. He is over 100 yards, but that's through 3 games. Receiving-wise, Claypool's doing great. Najee Harris is doing good receiving-wise. Deontay Johnson, sorry. And Juju Smith-Schuster's doing all right. But other than that, like offensively, I just don't trust this offense against pretty much like any defense. Even if they played the Jags, I probably wouldn't trust this offense. Defensively, they're still the Steelers' defense. They still hold their own. They try to keep it close, but when the offense continually gets 3 and outed and they can't do anything, they're just going to continually get tired, and that falls on the offense for not, keeping drives alive and keeping their defense like with air in their lungs. But yeah, I think 21's a good spot for them right now because I don't know what to think of them. Yeah, so we'll move on to the next. All right, so at 20, we have the New England Patriots. They're dropping 1 spot, even though they did get creamed by the Saints. I mean, I don't know what to think of the Patriots. I do believe Mac Jones is the quarterback of the future for them. He does look good. He has thrown more interceptions than he has touchdowns, but he just looks I don't know how to explain it. He just looks decent. Sorry. I think 20 is just a good spot. Just coaching in general holds this team up. I feel like they'll be able to keep their record similar to an even record at the end of the season. I don't see them doing like anything crazy, I don't know. It's just the Patriots after Tom Brady. You just don't know what you're going to get. Nobody knows yet, really. It's been 2 years and we still have no idea. Damian Harris is their leading rusher with 176 yards. Only lost 1 fumble so far. That's not bad. He's usually fumbling a lot. James White, I believe, has a season-ending injury. I might be wrong about that. He's not really doing anything for them. Jacoby Myers is a pretty good wide receiver 176 yards on 19 receptions. That's good. Kendrick Bourne's been playing decent. Nelson Aguilar's been playing decent. And Hunter Henry's been playing decent. Jonnu Smith I thought would be playing a little bit better. He's not. Whatever. Defensively, the Patriots are decent. Offensively, they're decent. I just need to see more from Mac Jones. I believe he's going to show out this weekend against Tom Brady. I don't think he's going to win the game, but I believe he's going to show everybody that he is the quarterback of the future for the Patriots. And I'm pretty pumped to see that. This is going to be a fun game. But yeah, at 19, I have the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins looks great. He is my underdog for MVP. Underdog for MVP. 100%. He's throwing for 918 yards, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's playing great. You cannot say he's not. He's playing great. Their offense looks good. They beat the shit out of the Seahawks. You already know. Whatever. The running game looks great. Dalvin Cook with 192 rushing yards. That's with a missed game last week. Alexander Madison came in and basically just shoved it right in everybody's face that he's the best RB2 on a team besides Kareem Hunt probably. And he went off for 125, I believe, or somewhere around that number. But yeah, receiving core, you already know. Like, the Vikings have a very, very, very lethal offense. Justin Jefferson with 254 receiving yards. KJ Osborne, who I didn't really know about, but I guess he was also drafted last year with Justin Jefferson, if I believe. He has 193 yards on 14 receptions. Adam Thielen's doing Adam Thielen things. 21 receptions, 181 yards. Tyler Conklin, their tight end, who I didn't think was going to really do much this year, 126 receiving yards. But yeah, offensively, they're great. Defensively, they're iffy. They looked good against the Seahawks, but before that, they didn't look very good. So I don't know what to think of their defense yet. I need to see them put more wins up on the board. I need to see their defense perform more. And they're playing the Browns this week, so that's a very big matchup. But yeah, we're going to move on to the next. So next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals moving up 8 spots this week. They look good. This is after the Thursday night game. I'm not going to use the Thursday night game, but they look great. They do look good. They beat the Steelers. They beat the Vikings. And they only have 1 loss on their board. So they're pretty good. I believe in the Bengals. Joe Burrow looks great. I really love the way he's playing. I don't believe he threw it. I forgot what he did last night, so I'm not trying to say anything stat-wise that's wrong. All I gotta say, Joe Burrow's throwing the hell out of the ball. Jamar Chase looks like a great WR1. Joe Mixon looks like a great RB1. Tyler Boyd looks great too. I'm not gonna talk about the tight end because he kind of had a blow-up game last night, but I'll leave that for next week's power rankings. It's kind of annoying that I had to upload this after the Thursday night game. It's whatever. I'm sorry about that. But the Bengals will probably move up, and in fact, they will move up. Defensively, they look decent. They didn't look very good, though, at the same time. And you should look good against Jacksonville, but Jacksonville was coming off of 3 losses, and they were kind of pissed off, so they just kind of went off. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a great spot for them. Let me know if you would move it. And then we'll move on to 17, where the Seahawks have dropped 11 spots. My Seahawks. Well, all I got to say is Russell Wilson's doing good. He hasn't thrown a pick, 7 TDs, 900 yards through 3 games, averaging basically 300 yards a game. Chris Carson looks good. Offensively, they look great. Tyler Lockett's over 300 receiving yards. Metcalf's over 220. Freddie Swain, who most of you probably don't even know, is over 100. Our offense looks good when it's doing something. Like, the Seahawks need to stop letting leads get to their head and keep pounding the ball and get into the end zone, because we keep on allowing teams to catch up on us, and it's just gonna kill us in the future. The Titans shouldn't have beat us. We were up huge in that game, and they came back because we decided just to quit, and we thought that we had the game won. So then the Titans come back, win. We were up, I believe, 17-3 or 17-7 in the first half, and then the first half ends with the Vikings up 21-17, and the Seahawks didn't score another point since then. So Seahawks just need to figure it out. I believe the Seahawks will be back in the top 10 hopefully soon, but right now this is the best spot for them. And then we're going to move on to 16 and 15. Alright, so a lot of you might be confused by this, but I have the Tennessee Titans moving down 2 spots. The only reason they're moving down 2 spots is because a lot of teams that are proving themselves are moving up, and a lot of teams that are already proven are kind of moving down or staying where they are because of the insane movement of teams right now. Last week kind of showed that none of us really have any idea what the hell's going on this season. A lot of teams that we thought would do bad are doing great. A lot of teams that we thought were going to do good are doing bad. So Tennessee's a good team. There's nothing wrong with them. I just had to move them down to move people up. I felt like that was fair. It does seem a little low, and I'm sorry about that. I didn't know where else to put him. You'll see why. Ryan Tannehill's playing all right, not great. Derrick Henry is the best running back in the league. There's no question about it. He just continues to put people in the dirt. When you have the best running back and one of the best receiving corps in the league, you're bound to do something great. Ryan Tannehill is the second leading rusher on the team with 100 yards rushing, which is kind of crazy to think about. Julio Jones is the leading receiver with 200 yards. It's pretty good. I honestly thought Julio was going to fall off. Derrick Henry's been doing good receiving-wise, which is weird because that just means he's getting better, and I don't like to see that because Derrick Henry's already cracked. A.J. Brown got injured last week, and he wasn't really doing good before that anyway, so offensively, the Titans are good. They're good. Defensively, they're all right. I think the defense is going to have a big game this week because they're playing the Jets. So if you're kind of confused on what defense to play in fantasy, make sure to pick up the Titans. And Derrick Henry, if you have him on your fantasy team, you already won your league this week. So just sit back and relax because he's about to drop like 60 points on the Jets. That's just going to happen. But, I think that's fair for them. The Saints aren't going to move this week. They did have a win against the Patriots. It just goes with the movement of all the teams. I think it's a good spot for them. 15's good. Jameis Winston, I don't know what the hell to think of him, man. Like, he's only thrown for 387 yards, but he has 7 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. It's a lot better version of Jameis Winston. That is for sure. Alvin Kamara's been doing good recently. Kind of started off slow. Receiving wise, none of the receivers are doing really anything because Jameis is only thrown for less than 400 yards. So, I mean, what are you going to do? It's kind of just based on how their defense plays at this point, and their defense is doing outstanding. The defense is definitely carrying this team. Who do they play this week? Let me check. They play, I forgot, sorry, New York. So, New York's defense it's decent. It's not like crazy. It's not as good as the Patriots. So I think New Orleans will be fine this week. Defensively, they'll probably shut down anything the Giants throw at them. I think Saquon's going to have a decent game against them. But other than that, yeah, I think 15 is a good spot for them. So we're going to move on to the next, which would be 14 through 13. All right, so at 14, I have the Broncos moving up 3 spots. They were at 17 last week. They are undefeated. I can't argue that they are an undefeated team in the league. 14 might seem low to some people. It's not really low to me. I can't judge the Broncos because they've only played teams that have not won a game. Like, I don't know how to judge it. This week is a very big determining factor for the Broncos. They're playing the Ravens. I think they're even favored in the game, which is crazy. But I did bet that the Ravens would beat them. We're going to see. I don't know. I don't know what to think of the Broncos yet. I think this is a good placement for them as of right now. They're 3-0. Teddy Bridgewater's playing very good. Cortland Sutton's doing good. Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, great running back duo. Tim Patrick is a surprise wideout too when Jerry Jeudy went out. Noah Fant's been doing all right tight end wise. I mean, they're good. Offensively, they're good. Defensively, they're probably top 3 in the NFL. Their defense is very unstoppable. They didn't allow the Jets to score anything. They barely allowed Jacksonville to score anything. They just been winning, and you can't hate on them for winning. So good for them. I think 14 is a good spot, and 13 is the Carolina Panthers, who also move up 3 spots. They are also undefeated, but I also don't know much about them. Especially coming into this upcoming week, they don't have Christian McCaffrey for a couple weeks, so we'll see how they perform without him. He's by far one of the best players in the world, football-wise, so you don't know what you're going to get when one of those guys goes out. Sam Darnold's been playing very good since he came into Carolina. I'm very surprised with him. I'm very happy for him. So that's good to see. Christian McCaffrey, leading rusher, he's going to be out for a bit. Chuba Hubbard comes in. He's probably going to take pretty much the same exact workload as Christian had, which is going to be tough on him. We'll see how he performs. DJ Moore has proven to everybody that he's a wide receiver 1. Almost 300 yards receiving on 22 receptions. That's very good. Robbie Anderson hasn't been performing like I thought he would with Sam Darnold with the little reunion they had going on there. Terrence Marshall's all right. So offensively, they're good. Defensively, they're also like a top 3 defense in the league. I think they have the most sacks in the league right now. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, I think 13 is a great spot for them. So yeah, let me know if you guys would have any movement with these power rankings in the comments. Please let me know anything. But we're going to move on to 12 and 11. Give me 1 second. All right, so I have the San Francisco 49ers moving down 2 spots. They just took a big loss to the Green Bay Packers. And I told everybody that 49ers aren't as great as everybody thinks they are. They're good. They're very good. They're a playoff contender for sure. As you know, I'm a Seahawks fan, so I don't like the 49ers, but I am giving them the benefit of the doubt. I think 12 is a good spot for them. Jimmy Garoppolo's playing decent. Not great, but decent. Their run game, I never know what to get from their run game. I just don't know. Their run game is so, like, weird. I don't know. Run game's weird. Receiving game, not so much. Deebo Samuel has been killing it. I've not known Deebo Samuel, but as a Seahawks fan, I've seen Deebo. He didn't get really like any national attention very much, but last year he was very good. This year he looks 10 times better. I'm pretty sure he's coming off of an injury as well. He has 334 receiving yards. George Kittle, he started off very slow. Sorry about that. My dog's having a little crying fit. He started off slow last week, did very good. Hopefully that doesn't affect the video. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, offensively they're good. I'm wanting them to kind of put Trey Lance in, see what he can do. As a Seahawks fan, kind of want to know what the future holds for us a little bit more. Defensively, they've been playing good, not great. They kind of got exposed against Green Bay. But overall, coaching-wise and everything, the 49ers are good. And they're a playoff contender. So, yeah, I think that's a good spot, 12. At 11, I have the Chargers moving up 7 spots. I knew 18 was too low last week. They look good. They look very, very good. Justin Herbert right now looks like a top 5 quarterback in the league. Maybe not top 5. Top 10. I'll leave it at top 10. Yeah. Rushing-wise, Austin Eckler looks good. He's more of a receiving back anyways. Oh, sorry. I ate a burrito. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are 2 wide receiver ones on one team. Mike Williams is having a breakout year. The new scheme that whole offense has, Mike Williams is flourishing in it. Keenan Allen is flourishing. Yeah, when you have 2 receivers through 3 weeks that are over 250 yards each, it's going to be a good season for you. Mike Williams has been in the end zone 4 times already. That's huge. 4 times in 3 games. He's going to have a lot of touchdowns this season. I expect him to have like 2 touchdowns against Las Vegas as well. But yeah, I mean, Austin Eckler's doing good. Jared Cook's doing all right. Offensively, they look great. Defensively, they look also very good. They held the Chiefs to under 30 points. I think they're going to come out, beat the Raiders this Monday night. But speaking of that, we're going to move on to the next, which would be 10 through 9. And yeah. Alrighty, so I have the Dallas Cowboys coming in, moving up 2 spots to 10. They basically annihilated the hell out of the Eagles. They look good. I think they figured it out. I think they're finally going to actually be a contender this year. They just look good. The run game is coming back. Ezekiel looks good. Tony Pollard's a great RB2. The receiving core is just absolutely ridiculous. And then you have Dak Prescott at the helm. So offensively, they're basically unstoppable. Defensively, they need to improve a little bit more. But they're still good defensively. Statistically speaking, Dak Prescott's doing his thing. Nothing too crazy from Dak. I thought he'd be up more passing yards wise, but Ezekiel Elliott's almost at 200 yards rushing. Tony Pollard as well, almost at 200 yards rushing. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Danny Schultz, Blake Jarwin, Tony Pollard, like all those guys receiving wise have been doing great. CeeDee's almost at 300 yards. Amari's almost about to hit 200. He kind of had a slow third game. I mean, they all kind of had a slow third game, but it was more about the run game against the Eagles. But yeah, I think the Cowboys are a top 10 team right now. You can debate me about that. I don't really like the Cowboys, but I believe they are a top 10 team. But yeah, moving on to 9, we have the Las Vegas Raiders, I believe, moving up 4 spots. Am I correct? Yep, I am correct. They're moving up 4 spots in my power rankings. Derek Carr, in my opinion, is second in the MVP race right now. 1,200 yards passing through 3 games. That is an absolute insane number, I must say. And he doesn't even really have like crazy weapons besides like Darren Waller, which just surprises me. Peyton Barber through the first 3 weeks is their leading rusher. Josh Jacobs has been dealing with some, I think it was his foot. I think he's been dealing with foot problems, so Josh Jacobs hasn't been getting the load that we had expected. Kenyon Drake's more of the receiving back, so he hasn't been running as much. But yeah, receiving-wise, you're going to have a lot of big receiving numbers when your quarterback is throwing 1,200 yards. Henry Ruggs up there in the 200s. Darren Waller in the 200s, which is crazy for a tight end, by the way. 200 yards, yeah. Brian Edwards, 200 yards. Hunter Renfrow, 200 yards. Kenyon Drake, 130. Like, their offense is just popping off. I cannot hate on the Raiders too much because they are 3-0. And their offense looks good. Their defense could improve a little bit, but their defense looks good as well. So I think 9 is a good spot for them at the moment. I don't think that's too low, and I don't think that's too high. So I think it's just right. But yeah, we're gonna move on to 8 and 7. All right. So as we all know, the Chiefs are 1-2, and nobody knows how. So I don't know what to like look into this as. I don't know how to accept it. So I'm not gonna drop them too much. I still believe the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC, no doubt about it. Except I feel like their defense is just holding them back from just winning the Super Bowl every single season. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes before this year was basically unstoppable in the month of September. He had never lost, never threw an interception. And this year, he's lost 2 games, and he's thrown 3 interceptions. Don't know how to take that. He's still the best quarterback in the league. Doesn't look like it as much right now. But, yeah. CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's doing all right rushing. About to hit 200 yards rushing. Travis Kelce is their leading receiver with almost 300 yards. That is huge for a tight end. Doesn't surprise me, it's Kelce. Tyreek Hill's almost at 300. Other than that, McCole Hardman's not been doing much. The receiving corps, other than Hill and Kelce, is kind of... It's all over the place. But offensively, they look good. They look like the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes just needs to be more smart with the ball. And I think they'll be all right. But defensively, they don't look very good. I think 8 is a good spot right now. If they lose another game, which I don't think they're going to lose to the Eagles, but if they were to lose to the Eagles, they're going to drop like the Seahawks did last week. But I think it's fair to put them at 8 right now. But yeah, moving on to 7, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray is doing Kyler Murray things other than throwing 4 interceptions. He has thrown for 1,000 yards already through 3 games. That's big. Chase Edmonds is their leading rusher. The only thing I have with the Cardinals, and it's just like Madara said in the weekly picks, is that they don't really have a game plan going into these games. And if you get into a game with a very, very good defense like they're about to this weekend, you have to have a game plan. You can't just have Kyler Murray just running out there and throwing fucking balls that make no sense. It's just not going to work against the Rams. So, with that said, I don't know what to think of the Cardinals. They're 3-0. But I still think they're the worst team in the NFC West. I said that in the picks as well. I don't see this team sustaining this kind of just sustaining like their play the entire season. Christian Kirk is their leading receiver. Rondale Moore, he's been doing good. Didn't know who he was. DeAndre Hopkins, I believe he didn't miss the game, but he was dealing with some type of injury, so he's kind of been slow. AJ Green has been doing decent. Receiving wise, they've been doing good. running game, Chase Edmonds has been getting about the same as James Conner rushing wise, and James Conner's. Chase Edmonds is more of like the receiving back for them. James Conner's more of the push it into the end zone type of back, the north-south runner. But yeah, offensively they look great. Will it sustain against the Rams? Probably not. Defensively, they had a great defensive game week 1. After that, they kind of haven't had the same kind of defensive performance that we would expect. So I think 7's a good spot right now for the Cardinals. I don't know where else to put them. But yeah, there goes my dog again. All right, we're going to move on to 6 and 5. All right, I think my dog is kind of done barking. He's still barking a little bit. Sorry if that bothers you. I can't really help it. I would go put him outside or something, but I don't know. At 6, I have the Ravens moving up 1 spot. They barely beat the Lions. Don't know how to take that. They're going into a game against a very good defense in the Broncos. I think 6 is a good spot for them right now. Lamar Jackson's been playing like Lamar Jackson more recently than at the start of the season. But I think 6 is a good spot for him. He's their passing yards leader and their rushing leader. 3 interceptions doesn't look good. But, he's been doing all right. Rushing wise, still one of the best rushing teams in the league. Tyson Williams has been doing good. Latavius Murray came in, started doing all right. Lamar Jackson is the best running quarterback in the league. That's no question about that. Marquise Brown's been doing good. Sammy Watkins has been doing good. Mark Andrews has also been doing good. Receiving the ball. Defensively, they look good. They're holding teams to point totals that the Ravens offense can handle. So I think they're another contender again this year. Just kind of depends how they go down the stretch and how they do in the playoffs, because the AFC is kind of stacked at the moment. We don't know how the AFC is going to play out because there's a lot of teams that are doing good that we didn't expect, so we don't know if they're going to sustain that success. But I think 6 is good for the Ravens right now. They're always in the mix, so I think it's a good spot. All right, at 5, I have the Packers moving up, I believe 4 spots. Yep, 4 spots from 9 to 5. Aaron Rodgers was not kidding after that first game. He looks like Aaron Rodgers again. He hasn't thrown for many passing yards, but that's mostly because the first game he basically was not even in the game. 2 interceptions in that first game, but after that, he's just been on a roll. Aaron Jones has been on a roll since week 2 as well. A.J. Dillon's a good running back too for them. Devontae Adams over 300 yards. That's not surprising at all, but he's the only receiver over 100 yards on their team. So offensively, they need to pick it up a little bit more. Defensively, they need to pick it up a little bit more. But I think end of the season talk, they're going to be in the conversation for NFC champ. So I think 5 is a good spot for them right now, coming off a big win in San Fran. But yeah, we're going to move on to the top 4 teams in the league, in my opinion. All right, looking at the screen, you might seem a little confused. I get it. It's weird. But I have my reasonings. Cleveland going up 1 spot. I think for some reason in my mind, I just have Cleveland like as one of the best teams in the AFC. At the moment, I feel like it's Cleveland, Buffalo, Ravens, and Chiefs. Like, those are the 4 teams that have had the most chance to win the AFC this year. Browns' running attack is just absolutely unstoppable. When you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt just coming at you, it's pretty much unstoppable to stop. Unstoppable. You know what the hell I'm talking about, all right? Baker Mayfield's doing all right. Not great. I mean, his completion percentage is good. TD to interception ratio, 2-2. He had a really good game where he didn't even throw a single touchdown, so his touchdowns don't really reflect how he's actually playing. Myles Garrett on the defense looks very good. I believe he had 4.5 sacks last week against Justin Fields, which is good against a running quarterback as well. Nick Chubb about to hit 300 yards rushing. Kareem Hunt doing great rushing. He's more of that receiving back. In fact, he is their leading receiver at the moment. Jarvis Landry's still out with injury. Odell Beckham had a good first game back with 77 yards. Offensively, I think they can sustain. Defensively, they're top 3, 4, 5 defense in the league. So I think the Browns are a top 4 team right now. I think that's fair. I know it might not seem like they are, but to me, I think they are. Then I have Tampa Bay dropping 2 spots from 1 to 3. They were the best team in the league. They got exposed by the Rams. Tom Brady's been playing out of his mind. 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 70% completion. Rushing-wise, they don't really have a rushing attack. Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones haven't really been doing much. Receiving-wise, you already know what they have. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown. Like, they're just stacked. Giovanni Bernard is a good RB3 to be passing to. Something Tom Brady really hasn't had in his career is a receiving back like that. So he's probably happy about that. Defensively, they've been playing great. They kind of got exposed by the Rams, but the Rams' offense is very, very explosive. But yeah, I think 3 is a good spot for them right now. They'll probably go back up to 2-ish, 1-ish, depending on how the Rams do, etc. But yeah, we're going to move up to the top 2 teams right now. Right, so this might also surprise a lot of people. The Bills are at 2. They're at 2 in my opinion. I mean, their offense is insane. Like, they just continually just go off. And they're not playing like the greatest teams or anything, but if they could sustain like anything close to what they've been doing offensively and defensively, they're going to be probably the AFC. They're probably going to win the AFC. So, I mean, Josh Allen's been doing good. 800 yards passing, 7 touchdowns to 1 pick. That's good. I mean, his completion percentage is down. But it's Josh Allen. You never know. He's rushing very good as well. 88 yards rushing. Devin Singletary's been doing pretty decent rushing. Only on 35 attempts, he has 180 yards. That's pretty good. Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs all over 190 yards. Emmanuel at 194, Beasley at 194, Stephon Diggs at 191. The tight end Dawson Knox is also at 100 yards receiving. So, yeah, their offense is explosive. Their defense is very good. Micah Hyde, you got Tremaine Edmonds, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Pryor. It's another top 5 defense in the league and a very top offense. So if they can sustain this run that they're on, I believe they will win the AFC. And my number 1 team on my power rankings this week would be the Los Angeles Rams, moving up 1 spot from 2 last week. 3-0. They beat the shit out of the Bucs. There's not much to say. Matthew Stafford is probably the MVP frontrunner right now. Actually, I wouldn't even give it to Matthew Stafford. I'd give it to Cooper Kupp, because Cooper Kupp is ridiculous right now. I don't know. I'm glad I have him in a lot of my fantasy leagues because he's just been going off. Sorry. Rushing-wise, Darrell Henderson was out last week. Before that, he had 123 yards rushing. He's doing good. Sony Michel's been doing all right in his replacement. Rush game's all right. Receiving-wise, Cooper Kupp is the best receiver in the NFL at the moment. He's ridiculous, bro. He has 5 touchdowns, almost 400 yards through 3 games. And he's about to play Arizona's weak secondary. He's probably going to end up with like 500 plus yards after 4 weeks. Like, he's the top receiver right now. 4 weeks playing, and he's going to be halfway to 1,000 yards. There's 17 games this season. Holy shit. He could literally blow records like right out of the water. Deshaun Jackson's finally getting going. I thought that was a very good pickup for the Rams this year. Another big, deep threat. Van Jefferson's been doing all right. Robert Woods, I knew he'd fall off. I don't really like Robert Woods as a receiver. But yeah, offensively, top offense. Defensively, top defense. That usually means you're going to have the top team in the NFL. So, yeah, that's what I got for you guys today. I'm going to block this out real quick. And yeah. So, that was actually a lot of time recording because I had to edit some... Oh, God. It's going to be fun editing this video. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys comment what you think about my placement of teams and see where I should have put them and where I shouldn't have put them, etc., etc. If you did like, I would like you to drop a like, comment, subscribe, do what you got to do to help me out. Very small right now. I'm getting a lot of views, and I really appreciate it. But, yeah. It's been a hell of a video. That was an hour recording, so now I got to edit that shit. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great week 4 of the NFL season. I said that in week picks. I usually say that every time. But yeah, maybe the Seahawks will win and they'll bump up a little bit. I'm very disappointed in the Seahawks right now. I want to cry. But yeah, all right. Everybody have a nice rest of your day or night, whatever it is for you. And deuces.